see if this thing works. Okay, we don't have a lobster light. Okay, it looks like the hard sleep cycle might have done something. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the 2026 Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack 4-door. Now that's what I'm in right now. Dodge was nice enough to send me this car for a week as a media vehicle. I've actually had some time to drive this car prior to getting it. If you watch the channel here, I did a whole video about this car back in May of last year. I actually got to sit in one, but I never got to drive it. Down in Tennessee at the 6-pack launch, they actually brought a 4-door Daytona down there, and I was really curious about it, so they let me drive it for about an hour, and I got to put about maybe like 30 miles on it, but I got to drive it on some really nice, like, actual, like, turn roads and stuff like that, so it was a lot of fun. But I couldn't wait to get like back to Michigan and drive one. So Dodge was nice enough to send me one. Obviously it's snowing out. We got that Arctic blast. So again, driving an EV in the winter with the cold, the batteries, you know, don't like that. So the range isn't that great. But, you know, I figured, hey, I want to experience it. And I love the 4-door because the 4-door to me is the better option than the 2-door. Mainly because of these short doors up front. Because if you're a tall guy like me, getting in and out of the 2-door is kind of a pain in the ass when you go to like grocery stores or whatever and you park up against somebody. You don't have much room to get in because the doors are so long. They're even longer than the Challenger doors that the car replaces. So having these short doors is nice. You can get in and out, no problem. Plus having access to the back seat's nice, especially when you have teenage kids like me. The seatbelt position, having the B-pillar right here, I feel like the seatbelt's in a way better, like more comfortable position. So I was really excited about driving this car. So yesterday I put about 100 miles on it, drove all over the place, doing some errands, going to the chiropractor, all that stuff. I did a live stream, all that stuff while I was driving, and I was talking to everybody about how much I love the updated like software. I said that in the video. I said, hey, you know, I haven't seen anybody with a 2026 have an issue whatsoever. So again, I was really excited. It seemed like the software, like even the interface with the Uconnect system is faster. Well, I went to go charge the car because it was down to like 33%. And the problem here in Detroit is the infrastructure. We don't have enough fast chargers for the demand of what EVs are here. Believe it or not, there's quite a few EVs. A lot of people live in apartments and stuff and can't charge in their apartment complex, so they go to the fast chargers all the time. Well, there's not enough for demand, and what happens is you have cars waiting on top of cars. So that's become a problem that I've been facing, especially in the last 5 months. So, you know, I've had my charger for about 7 months. So I kind of figured out, like, hey, if I wait late at night, a lot of people don't want to wait later in the evening, so they just leave. Plus, you can get sometimes cheaper rates. So I ended up going to a fast charger that's about 2 miles from my house. And as I was backing up this car to it, all of a sudden, the dreaded Lobster light came on. And if you know anything about the Lobster light, it means that basically it gives you a warning that the car is going to brick very soon. And I hadn't even plugged into the charger. I was just backing up into the spot, and I'm like, oh my God, like, please don't let this happen to me here. So the car had 32% battery left. And I figured maybe it's just for the cold, you know, with the cold, because it was only 10 degrees out. And the funny thing was, I went to the charger last night thinking like, hey, I'll just let the car run while it's charging. I don't need a jacket. I was like, I'll just jump in the car and have the heat going. I brought my laptop so I could work. And I figured, hey, I don't need to plug in my phone because I got the charger here in the car. I'll just, you know, I don't need to charge it. So I left the house with only 20% phone battery. So I go over there and I'm like, oh my God, I can't start the car because I don't want it to brick. So I just left it off and charged it. And if you know anything about EV charging in the winter, it is ultra slow. When it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit last night, I was at a 240 kilowatt charger, okay? That's pretty fast. This car with a 400 volt architecture can charge, I think, either 183 or 184 kilowatts an hour. It's got a 100 kilowatt battery, like a 100.5 kilowatt battery. So it should be like pretty quick to charge it. Well, in the winter or when it's really hot out, you never get those speeds ever. And last night I was at the pinnacle of charging, like when the batteries actually got warm, I was getting 72 kilowatts an hour, which is actually still pretty quick considering some of the chargers I've been to when it's cold out get maybe like 40, 41. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I said, I'm not going to charge the car fully. I'm just going to sit there and, you know, wait it out. Well, 10-degree weather, I was freezing. It was charging so slow from 32 to, I charged it to 65. I ended up going into the grocery store, or the gas station, and got some hot chocolate, come back, sat in the car. I couldn't use my laptop because my phone didn't have much battery in it in case it was going to be stranded. I didn't want to, like, not have a phone to call anybody. So I was like, all right. So I just sat there, waited till it got to 65. Every time I'd open the door, the Lobster light was still on. So I'm like, oh my God. So unplug the car, plug it back into the charger. Like I actually plugged the actual cord back into the charger, put the gas door shut, got it in it, and the Lobster light was still on. So having one of these cars, I've had this issue before where if you walk away from it for a few minutes with the keys, sometimes it goes into a sleep cycle and will fix itself. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Freezing my ass off, I walked about 100 yards away, locked the car, walked about 100 yards away out by the road, and stood there for 5 minutes. Came back to the car, unlocked it, and there was no Lobster light. So I'm like, oh great, it worked. It worked. Drove home, and I parked out in the street, which I'm still at right now. And the reason being is last time, if you watched my video, when my car did brick, my Daytona two-door, when it broke, like actually bricked in my driveway, it took 5 different tow trucks to come out here and figure out how to like tow it. Nobody wants to like tow the whole EV thing. You can watch that whole debacle there. So I didn't want to get stuck blocking in my wife's car and my Charger Daytona in case I needed to use it. So I left it out on the street, had to call the police because of snow emergency stuff, and had to tell them like what the license plate was of the car and all this stuff so they wouldn't tow it during the night or give me a ticket. So anyways, I just came out here and I basically let the car sit for 10 hours on a hard cycle. And keep in mind, when I got home last night, I started it up. Like I shut it off and then I started up and the Lobster light came back on after I got home. So I'm like, oh crap. So I contacted all the people at Dodge and told them like, hey, this is what's going on. And obviously it's the weekend, so no one's gonna come get the car. So I figured, hey, I'm gonna let it sit for like 10 hours, do a really hard sleep cycle and get in it. So I came out here, got in it, and no Lobster light. So is the software perfect for the update? No, but I have yet to drive this thing around the block. So last time I got in it last night, after a short sleep cycle, it was off. So we're gonna take this car around the block. We're gonna see if anything's different about it. We're gonna come park right where we're at, shut the car off, start it up, see if the light comes on. If that's the case, we're gonna do another lap around the block, shut it off, start it up, because I don't trust it. That's the problem. This is something that is new to me with the EV stuff. Again, I love the Charger Daytona. I love the 8th generation Charger. I love the 6-pack car. I think the 6-pack car is freaking awesome. But we're going to take this for a ride. I've been sitting here for about maybe 3-4 minutes, letting the battery warm up a little bit. So we're going to take it around the block. Let's take it around the block. We're going to park it right back where it was. And yeah, it's snowing out. I was looking really forward to today because I was going to take it to Cars and Coffee at Pastiner's on Woodward so everybody can kind of check it out. I had all these plans to go out shooting video and stuff. I had my 360 cameras all lined up for my Charger. I was going to have my wife take my car and we're going to shoot some rolling video of this because I wanted to get some really cool shots of it. So if it does like actually brick again, like if it goes into Lobster mode, they're going to have to come get it, which kind of sucks because I really had a lot of videos planned. I was hoping to go get, I have, my mom still has one of our 2014 Dodge Charger RT all-wheel drive cars. I was going to go take and compare that to this. I was going to compare it to my two-door, do a whole bunch of different videos, and it's like bitter cold this week. Right now it's 18 degrees, so it doesn't seem that bad. But we're going to go around the block here. We're almost halfway through, and then we're going to shut it off, start it up. Hopefully it cleared itself. Sometimes these cars are weird. It's not just like the EVs. Dodges have always been known that they'll have a light come on and they'll self-heal themselves. It's really weird. So hopefully it's just an easy thing and I can keep the car for the week, because I really like driving this car. It's pretty awesome. It's just, I was boasting about the software and I kind of bit myself in the foot. I still think they need to do some updates to the software and stuff a little bit, especially if it's the lights coming on. I don't know why. I'm interested to see why that reason is, but we're gonna pull out in front here and shut it off, start it up, and see if we are in a predicament. So let's see. All right, we're in the same exact spot. Let's shut it off. Okay, we haven't got nothing yet. Open the door. Shut it. So like right now it says press brake and push start button. So it still thinks I'm in here. So if we give it a few seconds, that should disappear and the car should just go into a sleep cycle. And then we'll start it up again and see. And then we'll take it one more time around the block and see if it does it again. Okay, see how it's off? All right, so let's start it up. I know the steering wheel's in a weird position, but okay, no light there. That's a plus. Okay, so obviously we just started it. There's no like light that's on. Maybe the hard sleep cycle for 10 hours healed it. I don't know. So we're going to take it around the block again and do the same thing. If it does it twice, then I'm pretty sure we're safe. But yeah, the car drives fine and stuff, but it's just, if you walk away from it for a while, sometimes it like clears out the codes. I don't know why. I'm not an electrical engineer by any means whatsoever, but it seems to work that way. So let's see. Roads still have quite a bit of snow on it. It's snowing out. It's not snowing hard, but there's quite a few flakes in the road. But yeah, it's funny because these cars being all-wheel drive and the weight to them and stuff, they have no problem in the snow at all. That's why I love the Charger Daytona so much. I think it's such a great car in the winter. minus the range. So all right, we're pulling back up again. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna shut it off, start it up, and hopefully it clears itself, because then I got to contact the reps and tell them, hey, I did a hard reset of the car and a hard sleep cycle and it seems to work. So we'll see. All right, we'll shut it off. Okay, so it's shut off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open the door, shut it like we got out, and we're going to wait a few seconds here. See if I can focus it in a little bit. We're going to see if we can wait a few seconds here and let that clear out. And then once that clears out, we'll fire it back up once again. Hopefully, it's, you know, like I said, whatever code it didn't like or whatever clears itself. So, but again, this isn't about bashing the car. It's about, hey, if this happens to you, here's what you guys can do to kind of not have to have it towed or whatever, especially if you're at home. Luckily, the car got me home no problem. And again, it was funny because I just didn't have enough battery power last night to show you the whole video. All right, so it's off. We're going to open the door one more time, just shut it. And see. Wait for it to go through everything. Looks like it self-healed itself. So it looked like it self-healed itself. Whatever happened, it cleared the code out. Just needed a really hard like sleep cycle to clear out the Lobster light. And I'll show you a picture of the Lobster light in the video that I got last night. The car's only got 4,300 miles on it. You know, I still think, you know, these are great cars. They just need... The software is such a miserable thing. I mean, I understand this is Stellantis's first, like, full EV, you know, thing, and all the Carlos Tavares drama behind it all of, you know, hey, we fired all of our electrical engineers here in the U.S. that were working on this car. We're going to outsource it all, and now they're putting a team together and actually fixing this stuff. I know it's not going to be perfect by any means. It's been 1 year, even though it looks horrendous because you got 24 model year cars out, 25, and now you're in 26, and then you got orders open for 27s. I don't know. But honestly, I still love driving the car, but if I had to choose, I would ultimately pick, there goes an EV right there, Equinox. If I still had to pick a car for the Dodge Charger, from what I know now, honestly, I would go with the 2026 Dodge Charger 6-pack, Scat Pack 4-door. That, to me, is like the perfect car. And I can't wait to bring you more content on this thing. So hopefully they won't come get it, and I can talk them into like, hey, this is what happened. Yeah, it just needs a hard sleep cycle, and it fixed itself. It seems like my car did the same thing before. So again, it's about knowledge. Everybody's learning about these cars, and I want you guys to learn too. So if you liked the video, make sure to hit like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.